Hey, we are in the building. Welcome, 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 everybody. Adjust your dial. Do what you got to do, because now if you was feeling down and out, booyah, we in your face with the motivation in the
Monday.
place. Right,
Yes,
Amir?
motivational Mondays. I look, it's two things I look forward to. Friday debate show and
Right.
motivational Mondays. Those are the two things I look forward to. I get amped for these two things. Y'all have no idea.
Hey, man, listen, it's a good day. It's a good day. I just said that to somebody. Somebody was like, yo, I said, how you doing? It's like, good. How you? I was like, well, it's a great day for a Monday.
Yeah, yeah. I feel the same way. I got up this morning coming off a rainy weekend here in New York, because I know, you upstate and whatnot, but
Right.
here in New York, it was, rainy predominantly most of the weekend. But I got a chance to rest and, just kind of process stuff and, kind of just get into, just normal stuff. And I was like, okay, we finally got some rain. The snow is finally melting. I'll get
Right.
into something else that's not motivating about all the dogs mess that's all over the place, because ain't nobody curbed their dogs with all that daggone snow, but that's a whole nother argument for another day. So,
You said
so
that's a whole nother argument.
whole nother argument. But beyond that, and I know today in particular we happen to be talking about movies and TV that motivates you. But my motivation always starts my day with music, and oddly enough, I was listening to a Jazzy Jeff mix that he has on one of the many platforms that he's on. And T, I got to tell you, I'm in the mind frame of mindset now, and this is no disrespect to all of the amazing DJs I know, and I know a ton of them. Jazzy Jeff may be by far the best DJ ever, and I don't mean that as any knock to anybody, but I mean
It's
it's
not even close.
like in terms of how his brain works as far as music goes and the way he moves in and out of different genres, different eras effortlessly, and makes it all seemingly blend together. It's scary. And I've heard two mixes now that have me like, this dude is illegal. He's not fair. It's different. But
Yeah, it's not.
getting back,
It's not even close, bro.
yeah,
Back when they had all those little DJ battle things or whatever,
uh-huh.
like it's not even close. Like he's won every one, and even the guys who when he wasn't there, because there's a couple times he didn't enter them. It was his cronies who won, who picked up, who watched him for years, picked up certain skills and how to do what he did. And basically, you win. And sometimes you win a contest giving your best impersonation of somebody.
Yeah, that's
You know what I
true.
mean? So, I mean, that's a great idea. Maybe we'll touch on that next week and come piggyback off of the visual, and go into the music realm. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yes,
Um,
sir.
and and we'll get creative with that. We'll,
Okay.
what hip hop songs, what R&B songs, what white songs, whatever. We'll break it down, because that's exactly right. There's a lot of motivating music, and you got to realize music may be, when you look at it on a daily basis, it may be more influential and motivating in the visual aspect, because a lot of times when you go to work or out and about, you can't see a TV. Like, I'm
Yes.
not talking about just this era with the smartphones, but original day, headphones was all you had, fam.
Yeah. No, no, that's true.
Before
And
you could watch stuff on your phone, because you couldn't watch shit on no flip phone. I don't give a fuck.
oh, you
You
could
could,
barely text. You could barely text on the flip phone. Yeah. Seven
you could barely
seven
you
three
could barely
eight.
sleep on a flip phone. But anyway, today's a special show. We're gonna dig into this television and film. So we call it motivating movies and TV shows, and we're gonna pick everybody's brain to see what it is. We got a few guests coming on today. My partner in crime, coming off a great weekend in Rochester. Shout out to Alfreda. I see you, baby. Great weekend in
Yes.
Rochester. 4 shows. One of our comedians from Heart of the City in Syracuse, New York, Travis Bunner, being in a few minutes. From the Black Ink crew, speaking of TV shows, Walter Wizard comes in around 6:30, and my partner in crime, Quincy Morris, will jump in as well, and everybody's going to get their take. And for the first time, we're going to get the producer from behind the scenes to come in front of the scenes and let him join in on this conversation. So let's kick it off with
Okay.
me and you before this guest comes. I'm gonna go right there. Say this: before I dig into crates and go back to some classic movies, I gotta be honest. Lately, I watched a couple of movies as of the last maybe month or two that's been very motivational to me, man. Very inspirational. Um, it's been motivating me to even do more due diligence into our history. I watched the Judas and the Black Messiah,
Okay.
and I just watched the Billie Holiday thing last night.
Okay. Wow. See, I
And
haven't
and I watched the Biggie joint, the new documentary,
the new
Story
Biggie.
to Tell.
Okay.
Three
Okay.
things.
No, I haven't. You know, it's so crazy. I haven't had the opportunity to delve into any of those projects just yet. But you know, to your point, um, and we, you know, spoke about this on one of our other shows. One Night
Right.
in Miami was influential for me. Believe it or not, even though the movie pissed me off, the I Care movie that we talked about as well was motivational for me in regards to understanding how imperative it is to not only take care of your health, but then also to pay attention to the elders within your family and make sure that
Yeah.
hopefully they're being taken care of properly because
So that
it's
motivated you to like in an eye opening way.
yes, yes,
You
yes.
know what I mean?
And,
Shout out to Adrian Osborne. What's up, darling? Thank you for
hey,
tuning in.
Adrian.
Thank you for
Yeah.
Alfreda. We're just getting started, but let's take the Judas and the Black Messiah, for instance.
Okay.
Very motivational in the aspect of what your worth is and how your worth can become a threat to the powers that be as your enemies or your, the kids will say that they haters or adversaries or whoever the competition is. Because the only reason that this brother, now, when you really do the due diligence and find out who he is, what he is, and when it all took place, the young man, 20, he's 17, then he's 20, and they kill him at 22. But the point being, that much power was very motivating for me to see somebody, because all the time we think about history, for some reason, whether we know the age or not, we always assume they're older.
Older.
It's like the story precedes them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So you're like, oh,
Yes.
he must have been about 48, 58, 68. And this dude was 22 by the time it was all said and done. And then I watched, like I said, the Billie Holiday story. I knew of Billie Holiday, but not of the impact of what she was really going through. Not all we know is she was a great singer, she was addicted to drugs, but we don't know that she was such a threat that she was at war with the government.
Again, what I've learned to appreciate much more so now in later years, as you even alluded to with speaking on those two projects,
Right.
is hearing and understanding, like you said, the bigger impact that a lot of these people have had on us, not only in our immediate families and our immediate circles, but the impact that they've had on the world. The interesting
Right.
thing is most of their stories haven't been told from those perspectives.
Exactly.
To your point, most of it has just been, possibly the negative aspects of it or the parts that quote unquote they can, put in a fantasy like way so that we can all, feel as though we're a part of it. But it's now, I think it's absolutely imperative, and I think it's absolutely amazing that now we're starting to hear these stories told from perspectives that now give us real insight as to what not only was going on, but really where these people were. You say drug addict and things of that magnitude. If you fight against the government or something of that magnitude, there's a pretty good chance that you might get strung out on drugs or something else may cause you to uh feel differently about how this person is or who this person is, especially now that you've gotten some background information which you didn't have before. So I think
Yeah.
that it is important that we, definitely check out these projects and then do like we're doing. Not only you and I, but everybody amongst ourselves, have these conversations. Let your children see them. I know last weekend, if I'm not mistaken, I think they had actually replayed the entire Roots, from 1977, which
Oh,
became
nice.
on one of those channels. They played the entire thing, and it was jarring to me to watch it now as an adult differently from watching it obviously as a kid, because when it came out I was a kid, but nonetheless it still had a lot of the same impact on me from a lot of different standpoints because of, just the way that life has played out and some of the, interesting, moments that have happened to myself, in my life to this point. With that having been said, I find it interesting that, people are and are not even aware of roots. One of the things I always smile about when I think about roots, like you said, you talk about impact. Roots probably had the most African American actors or the most actors ever in the history of any movie, miniseries that you can think of, ever. They had white actors, they had black actors. You were just in there, you watching like, oh shoot, that's the dude from Benson. Oh snap, that's
Yeah,
the guy
ain't
from,
that crazy?
and it just goes to show you that a project done properly with the correct premise, the correct information. Like I said, how motivating that can be to, just to see all of these moving parts come together and put a project that we can now look at and go.
Well,
I
my favorite is still Chicken George. Chicken George, you know, for obvious reasons, I resonated with that character because it's like our grandparents and our great grandparents had these sayings, and one of the big sayings that I never forget is, we have to laugh to keep from crying. You know, and that's what Chicken George brings to mind. Like he was that character. He was goofing
yeah.
around, playing, and trying to make people laugh or whatever. But when the master was away or whatever, and he got serious, he'd be like, "Yeah, and tell you the plan." But every time people around in the group or the masses, he go to the fun part and try to make light of shit and be that guy, the goofy guy. But it reminded me of my grand and great grands always like, sometimes you got to laugh to keep from crying. I remember. What up?
Hey,
Shout out
Sharon.
to so give me, first of all, let's deal with these movies. Give me 3 films for you, for whatever reason, you found
Okay.
these films to be uplifting or motivating.
Okay. So, and these are in no particular order. Star Wars, the original Star Wars. And the reason
Tell me
why I
why.
say the original, huh?
Why?
Because as a kid, one of the things that always amazed me about Star Wars was the character of Yoda. I was always intrigued by him because of his his ideology of saying that any hurdles, any obstacles that you may encounter, it's a mind frame and a mindset that you have to get into in order to overcome that. And I always thought that that was so dope. I was like, even as a little kid, I was like, wow,
That
that's,
is,
you
that
gotta
is amazing.
really,
Yeah.
you gotta kind of think along those lines. Um, the Matrix, all of the Matrix, I like every last one of them. I will watch those 1,000 times again and again and again and again and again, and especially the first one. The first one is my all-time favorite. I mean, all the other ones were, magical as well, but the first one, because again, along the same lines of what Yoda did, I felt like, what you call it, when once what you call it finally understood that again he was holding himself back because it wasn't anything that was really holding him back other than himself, his own mind, his own ability to really just see what you call it. The very end of that movie when he turns everything into electrical currents, and I talk about this all the time. I always say, in this world, everything is an electrical current. I know we don't necessarily think of the world in that way, but it is. Once he got to that point and he could see the entire world and the electrical currents it was in, I was like, you can't do that with this dude. So I always thought that that was a super,
Hold on.
super,
Sharonda
super
said the
motivation on what you
pursuit of
call it.
happiness. The pursuit of happiness. I get that right away. That's
Yeah.
Sharonda's one right there. So give me one more, a third one, Amir.
And believe it or not, I know this is probably going to sound, crazy to a lot of people. And not that I was cheering for Rocky, but I was cheering for what Rocky stood for. Meaning, this was a guy who seemingly had all the odds against him just about in every single movie. He was always fighting the guy who was better than him, the guy who was stronger than him, the guy who was faster than him, all these different things. And he technically had to go back to the essence in every single one of those fights in order to build himself up enough to really attack that, that ideology that he wasn't good enough. And I guess that, it leads me to believe that in a real sense, that's who I am. And that's why I'm so adamant sometimes about some of the things that, you and I get the opportunity to, speak about and to share with the various platforms about life and about, understanding yourself and about, always being motivated, by yourself and, and by what you bring to the table versus worrying about what everybody else is doing and, what everybody else is bringing to the table. It's on you. And I think that those movies help me in a real sense shape that ideology for me. And that's why I think those movies, were so.
No, I mean, it's dope. There's no wrong answer here. That's the thing about this conversation. And Rashawn said the first Rocky was epic. Even our super producer behind the scenes, Pete, Prophet Pete, that was the first thing he said while we were talking off air before we went on air. He was like Rocky, and I was like, okay, but I get it. Like, first of all, everybody who's listening, who's paying attention, and everybody who's in agreement, who's gonna come on, there is no wrong answer. This is your answer, because that's why I said I put in there my caption in parentheses is for whatever reason. It don't have to be, oh, he won at the end or they did this. It don't matter because everything strikes people in their situation. They relate to things in their own way and what they're going through and what they can relate to. So that's a great one. He said Rocky, you said Rocky. I will say this though. All of your joints, to me, I can relate to. Even that you picked them, I can relate to Star Wars. I'm a big Star Wars fan. All of these have one thing in common: triumph, going against the bigger machine. So resilience comes to mind. So it's like, if that doesn't represent the average Joe who starts, I'm not talking about a person who's born with a silver spoon in their mouth. All they got to figure out is how to keep shit. It's one thing to figure out how to keep shit. It's a whole other thing to figure out how to get shit to keep.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine if the government gave everybody, when you was born, the government goes, here's your $1 million, do your thing. A lot of people will be good money. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the poor man would probably be less than it is now because he got somewhere to start from to build a foundation. It's a different thing when you got to take all that resilience. We always say hurdles, and we always talk about equality and how there's more hurdles in the front of the black dude than everybody else, so things like that. Marlene said, Boomerang, first time seeing professional black characters doing it. Good. Okay. That's true. That's true. Which brings me to part 2 of this question, Amir.
Yes.
Television shows. Okay. So here's the thing. And she just reminded me of that by saying seeing the black characters in a certain position. I stand with a lot of black people that when this topic and this question always comes up, the Cosby Show. When you talk about television, the Cosby Show was the consistent showing of a black family at a certain level of progress and succession. Meaning this family, this black family, this professional black family comes to you in a form of successful.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So now we're raising this household of kids and trying to raise them and keep them in that crony level of success and profession.
Yes.
Right. So a lot of black people, you ask this question to the average black person, the Cosby Show. Cosby Show was inspirational. It showed us in a different light. Before the Cosby Show, 9 times out of 10, we were shown in the light we already knew. So if you're down here at the bottom and you're aspiring to be all these things up here, but all the programming keeps showing you right where you're already at, that's not motivational. I mean, it might be entertaining. It might be fun, because let's keep it real. Good Times and Red Fox and all that shit, funny as hell. But nigga never got out the junkyard, right? Nigga never got out the projects. But it was funny. But then when you look at a Cosby Show, when you look at the Jeffersons, these are shows that made you feel like, even the spinoff Different World, from a different standpoint, you showed like you take those characters in Jeffersons and Cosby Show, the Different World showed these people in the making. In college. Yes. You know what I mean? Black colleges and stuff like that.
And everything.
Showing us in the making of being these things.
Yes. I agree.
So that's my 3 right there. You gotta give me 3. And for what reason?
Gotta give you 3. Okay. So mine's is going to be a little bit different, and mine's is going to be a little bit different because, like I said, growing up in my house in my childhood, I had the opportunity to. Comedy has always been a big thing for me. So I was as a kid, big Abbott and Costello fan, and that came on Sundays. In case people don't remember it, or if anybody can remember back that far, but it used to come on Sundays. It was the Bowery Boys, it was Abbott and Costello, and I used to love those two shows, and you couldn't tell me anything. But as a counter to that, from my parents, they always asked us to watch shows like It Is, Positively Black, and Tony Brown's Journey. So those shows for me were motivational in this regard. It gave me the opportunity to see people who looked like me, who had actually done things that were proficient and were, such a big part of the bigger picture of what our world was like.
Right.
And that we didn't necessarily have a great understanding of, or even that much of an inkling of, because most of the shows, that you alluded to, and especially prior to the Cosby Show and prior to A Different World and shows of that ilk, everything was marginal. It wasn't, we weren't seeing ourselves in a level or in a space that allowed us to go, wow, that's actually pretty dope. Like, okay, I didn't think about that. That's something else, or another perspective to think about. So those shows for me are like my three, because like I said, that was my way of my mother and father instilling in me and giving me the opportunity to see people who look like me, people who had achieved some things, learn some information that I can now, kind of talk about and take some pride in. So I always were mindful and thankful of those shows, especially at a very early age, because they allowed me to know and understand that we had already accomplished some things, and we were continuing and standing on the shoulders of those people in a real sense. We just didn't know it at the time because that wasn't information that was readily available to us. So
Well, see, that's a great answer. Like I said, there's no wrong answers here. That's dope as hell. Okay, so let's do this. One of our guests is in the living room in the studio. Want to bring him in? Let's bring in. He was with me all weekend up in Rochester for the 4 shows. He hails out of Syracuse, New York. Funny dude that I decided one of my cronies to take under the wing because he deserves it. He's very creative. He stays on his toes, and he ripped 4 shows. He went 4 for 4 this weekend up in
yes,
Rochester at the RIT Conference Center. Bring in Travis Blunt from Heart of the City, y'all, with Kevin Hart.
yes.
What up, Trav?
Hey, how's
What's
everything,
good,
sir?
Talent, man? How you doing, brother? How you doing, man?
First
Appreciate
of
you having me.
all, let's talk about the weekend, man.
Yes, sir. Let's talk about that. Woo. Yo, it was first of all, man, thank you for inviting me to the stage, man. I appreciate that. It was my first live performance in front of a crowd, I think, since August, man. So it was really great feeling the energy from a live crowd, because mostly it's just been Zoom meetings or
Yeah.
Zoom shows, I should say. So just getting the reaction and feel of a live audience for the course of 2 days, 4 shows, 4 great shows was awesome, man. It was great feeling that again.
Hey, man, that's what I'm talking about there, man. This is Travis Scott out of Syracuse. Excuse me, Travis Blunt out of Syracuse. He was on the show. Walt the Wizard from Black Ink Crew, who will be joining us in about 10 minutes or so on the show as well. Who else we had? We had Charles Walden. We had Dante Carter. Ray DeJean popped up there. Sidney Sir, the African King in Rochester. I mean, we was just rocking, man. We had a great time and everything. So first of all, congratulations, great job, bro. You know
Thank
how
you.
I get work, we get work. So I'll be
Yes, sir.
calling your phone and
Yeah,
hitting you with the
I'll
next
be
thing.
ready, man.
You
I
always
go,
are,
man.
bro. You always are, and I appreciate that. So you hear what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, I caught part of it. I caught part of it.
Okay, let me reiterate it for you. This is Motivation Monday. No matter which direction we go in, our goal and aim is to always keep people motivated. Because Monday, let's face it, in America, Monday's the downer day. So we take we take the down day to attack the downward spiral to bring it up so that hopefully at the end of the day, Amir and myself make people stop looking at Monday the same way. The
Yeah,
big
right.
picture is for you to get up on Monday like, hey, it's Monday, it's another week, let's go. Instead of Monday, anybody want some coffee? We don't want that. So we're talking about movies, motivating movies and television shows that for some reason, for whatever reason, and the reason's your own. There is no wrong answer or right answer. This is your answer. Let's start with movies. Give me 3 movies that Travis thinks about and remembers that for some reason motivated, stimulated, or got you going or riled up in a positive way.
Oh man, think tank right here. As far movies, I can't. To be quite honest, movies and TV shows, they don't really motivate me per se. It's more like the reality talent shows because that's more real. That's my real. Like a movie, it's written to the script. It's written to the script. It's supposed to happen. So you could go into a movie knowing, all right, regardless of where it's at in that movie, whether it's downtrodden, you know, at some point it's going to be up. But reality TV shows, like to see somebody's dream come true right in front of you, like i.e. The Voice or America's Got Talent, we're everything. We're all shoot for the dream to get a buzzer press or to get an opportunity to keep grinding or have that opportunity to pursue your dream motivates me. I like to see real people that was just dreaming for 30, 20 years and all of a sudden they get a chance, like real stuff. So
well, let me interrupt you and say this. You know what? First of all, fuck you because you talking shit because you was on Kevin Hart's Heart of the City, right? But no, all jokes aside, that's a great point, Trav, because that's my true answer to people when they are surprised that I like stand-up comedy more than doing movies. People who interview me, they're surprised and they go, well, why? I said, well, because stand-up every single night, every single show is a challenge to me. That script for a movie is already done. Like you said, it's already done. Like somebody did it already. All I'm doing is reading off the paper, memorizing it, and letting the camera catch it, and they edit it up, and boom, you got a movie. I said, stand up, that shit keep me on my toes every single show, every single day I get an opportunity to do it. So that makes great sense. So with that in mind, give me your top 3 of these champion or competition shows.
I mean, I get caught up in the Matrix on YouTube, like the Subway singer Michael Young. He was on was it like I first saw him. I think it was America's Got Talent. Singing 30 years in the Subway. I mean, if they don't get no more inspirational for you to keep pushing like that, like I mean, that's a real human being. Like you walk past him, see him, and then he gets on the stage, and his dreams are coming along. I can't remember all their names, just random stuff. Like you see people in like it could be like Britain's Got Talent. Like there's this shadow group that trained out in the Ukraine, and they got introduced. Everybody was making fun of them, but when they got into the routine, it's a great routine, man. If you could just look up shadow group, Britain's Got Talent, man, it's a great routine. It brought tears. It's motivational. Like they were being laughed at, and then by the end of that performance, they made it all the way to the finals, and by the end, they was getting a round of applause, and people were loving. That's inspiration to me. That's like real, because that's like what we go through. That's what I'm going through. Like I started out in a stock market 10 years ago before I started doing comedy, man, making minimum wage, and I decided I'm gonna try to do this comedy thing, and it's been a dream. So I love seeing people's dream come true, like real people. That's inspiration to me.
About that, Amir? What did I just say to you? We were talking, and remember I brought up Shark Tank. As a business dude who's interested in entrepreneurship all the time and stuff like that, me and Amir was like, it's not so much reality-based stuff, but for me, it's like a Shark Tank type of thing. Amir, what do you like?
He's absolutely right. See, I'm a big fan of all of the cooking shows. Like I'm a huge fan of the Food Network, so I watch Guys Grocery Games and all those different things, and even Chopped. Chopped is like one of my all-time favorite TV shows, and much more so because to this gentleman's point, to watch somebody take something that either one I would never eat a day in my life, I don't give a damn how much they pay me, but to see them create and turn it into something magnificent, I'm always like, wow, I wouldn't have even gone in that direction, or I wouldn't even thought to, try to make it into something of that magnitude. But to watch these people's creative mind in real time, like you said, pull, these kind of things together is, like you said, it's definitely inspirational. So that's
amazing. I want to take a minute before we let Trav get out of here. Prophet Pete, come on the screen. Our super producer Pete, Prophet Pete's in the building. Now you know what it's about. You the producer. You back there. You wasn't. You thought you was going to escape this shit. No. Give me your top 3 movies first, Pete.
Top 3 movies, right? So we all spoke about Rocky, but it is not just like the Rocky. It's the Rocky Balboa movie. So when he was older, not necessarily when he was younger fighting. Okay. And then Creed,
which is excellent.
Creed, and then another weird movie that Black Hawk Down.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, hold up. You just changed your shit up, man. That's not what you told me.
Friday Night Lights. But
yes, Friday Night Lights. That's why I wanted to become, I wanted to join in with camaraderie. This motherfucker going with a whole different 3. I like short. I'm sitting like, what the fuck? In my mind, I had a perfect flow how that was going to happen. He Omaha.
Omaha.
He changed the play line of scrimmage. Okay, so no, I get that. Friday Night Lights though was tough. I'm gonna tell you some funny stuff. Sometimes I can watch a certain show or movie, and it deters me. It's like reverse motivation. Yes. It's motivating, but it's telling you what not to do. Like jail movies, right? When Denzel played the Hurricane, okay, I can count on my hands how many times a movie brought a tear to my eye. So that was one of them. There's a scene, if you've never seen Hurricane Carter, Denzel plays this famous boxer. True story, by the way. When they lock him up, there's a scene in there where he's real tough. Like, I ain't gonna let y'all break me. They put him in solitary to break him. And the longer they keep him in, and the scene, the way they do it, how he starts to slowly break, is he actually breaks into about 4 or 5 different characters. So it's one guy in a cell, but the way he breaks into these characters and still trying to maintain, but eventually breaks, brings such a tear to your eye. But those type of movies, like the TV show For Life,
yes,
they kind of inspire me to not want to go in that direction. To kind of, if it makes any sense, to stay away from, even though I'm admiring their perseverance and going through what they got to go through to get the hell out and put the gears back where they belong. That's another type of reverse motivation, if it makes any sense.
No, I agree. Shawshank Redemption is along those same lines for me. I feel the same way. That's one movie that, believe it or not, I don't care where I come, once it comes on, if I see that it's on, I will watch it till the end. I don't care where it's at. I will always watch it till the end. But to your point, it's reverse motivating, because I think to myself, these are things that I don't want to experience. These are things that I don't, challenges that I don't want to, necessarily have to, be a part of my life. So I see what you mean by that, Talent.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, Trav, thanks, man. I appreciate that, man. Let the people know your social media, your handles and everything, so people can follow you, because they definitely want to see more of Travis Blunt. First of all, I'm proud of you, brother. Your growth strides are crazy.
Man, thank you, man. It's been a blessing actually to meet you and get to know you, man, and to be considered your friend, man. You're a great mentor, man. I appreciate all the tips and all the this is the advice that you give me when I text you. You always text back with advice and stuff like that. So I appreciate you, man, and I wish you and Amir and everybody much more success and many blessings in the future, man. You could find me on IG at @ Travis Blunt, Twitter at Comic T Blunt, and obviously I'm gonna be doing big things in the future, man. I got a lot of good things, and definitely looking forward to getting up with you again,
absolutely,
man.
And he's an inspiration and motivation as well to us, man. Amir, when I met this brother a few years ago, fast forward a bunch of years, and not only is he getting better and funnier and witty and timing and all that, he got the same girlfriend. It's incredible. It's amazing. Thank you for motivating us. Trying to get one girl
on here, brother.
Thanks, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Amir,
Be
bless
good,
out, bro.
Love, man. Love. Shout out to his girl, his sweetheart. I met her. I mean, I love to see her pop up. So she's just a sweetheart. We talk about that in comedy all the time. Like when you show up at a show and the impact of these guys who have wives and fiancés and all that. I've seen both ends of the spectrum. I've seen it's 3 levels and 3 gears of that shit. I've seen the supportive one like his wife. I've seen the shitters like my boy AD's ex, and she be right there at every show. You ain't shit. I don't even know why you doing this shit. You are telling me garbage. I'm like, damn. And then you got the girl who don't give a fuck about nothing either way. Give me $5. I'm about to go play the casino slots. This bitch don't give a fuck if you get booed or nothing. She don't even want to see it. Give me $5. Go play the slots. Yeah, I hope you die. Whatever. So Prophet Pete. So that was, you gave us that, but what about TV, bro?
TV definitely is weird because Black Ink would be one of them, only because it's seeing like all the what. I don't watch it for all the chaos. I watch it to see the progress. So when they open in shops, the growth, the bringing in new artists, like the business aspect, Undercover Boss and The Prophet.
Undercover Boss. That's
you motherfucker. I hate that show, Undercover Boss. You know how many bosses I would smack the shit out of just popping up on
I'm with you, T. But
that's some sneaky ass shit.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
Most episodes of Undercover Boss, they make you cry. I don't give a damn how much of a thug you are.
I don't need that shit. I don't need that shit in my life. Yo, let me tell you something. That's the second worst shit. I refuse to watch shit, right? The number one shit I hate the most though, them is top 3 hated joints. Intervention.
Okay.
Undercover Boss. Fucking Hoarders.
Oh.
You got me feeling sorry for these motherfuckers, man. All they have to do is clean their house.
Yeah, and Hoarders be crazy because in a real sense, I've only watched maybe, a few episodes, but I be thinking to myself, how did your joint get to that? I'm like, goodness gracious. Like,
bro, well, Prophet Pete hit the nail on the head when he said Black Ink Crew. Our next guest is in the living room. Let's bring him out. Walt the Wizard, also with us in Rochester, ripping shit up. 4 for 4. He undefeated and still undefeated. Yeah, there you go.
Yo, what's up?
Hey,
Walt,
how you doing,
don't
sir?
try to circumvent this conversation, son.
Yeah. We're not circumventing nothing right now. We getting straight to it. We're not going to circumvent anything. Yes.
First of all, congratulations, man. This is Walt. We don't really count the tri-state. Anything like 45 minutes an hour is local. It's considered local. When we travel hours out of our realm, we on the road. So up in Rochester, which is 6-7 hours from the city, we was on the road for the first time together, and I got to give you an A+, bro.
Appreciate you. Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. I have fun.
I know you're gonna be a great road dog. You know why? Because not only do forget the stage, you hammered that A+, but all the little stuff that go with it. He ain't getting on your nerves. He's following instructions. Like, I don't think he asked shit. I don't think you asked one thing twice. He asked you one time, you got an answer, he go. I love that shit.
Right. Yeah.
How do you feel about the week? Let me get your take.
How do I feel about who? What?
The weekend, the show, the 4 shows.
Oh, it was fun. It was cool. It was a good experience. I never been up to Rochester as far as doing comedy is concerned, so it was good to get out of the city. It was fun. A lot of, the crowd was good. All 4 of the shows. We had a good crowd. The people came to laugh. Yeah, it was golden. I had a good time.
Well, the people reviews came in. They didn't even, normally they wait a whole day and you start getting reviews. Like soon as I went up to the room trying to go to sleep, everybody's in the inboxes, everybody's in Messenger, everybody emails, oh my God, y'all got to bring that show back, that exact show, and all this. So you got raving reviews. You did your damn thing. Now, what we're talking about on
we take
Motivation
that. We'll
Monday,
take that.
what we talk about on Motivation Mondays, I know you heard a little bit of it. Movies that come to mind that make, for whatever reason, ain't no wrong answer here. For whatever reason, got you hyped, motivated, or inspired. Give me three, at least three.
All right. Well, my favorite movie of all time is Cornbread Early Me. That's like one of my favorite movies of all time. You know what I mean? Little Larry
Right.
Fishburne. He could, when he took the stand, his mom gave him the speech. My son, it's a time when you got to become a man. Right now is the time for you to become a man. And he went up there and did his thing like, you killed Cornbread. He wasn't doing that, but we went home in the rain and you killed him. Yeah, so that helped him get his boost ups. Yo, he was like, he couldn't wait to point out, oh, yes, you did. You killed Cornbread. He wasn't doing nothing but at home in the rain. He was hyped. After that speech his mom gave him, you couldn't touch him. That was great. I grew up watching that. Another one of the movies that inspired me to just wanting to like do comedy was Harlem Nights. You had three legends. Well, a lot of funny motherfuckers, but you had like literally 3 generations of comedy in one movie, and it was just nonstop funny from beginning to end. So like even like today, like I watch movies like that, and I still catch little things in the backdrop and everything. Like the overall, like Eddie was in his zone back then. And let me see, do I have like a third one that really inspired me? Oh, another one as far as the comedy is concerned. Martin Lawrence Talking Dirty After Dark. That was a cool movie showing the grind of a up and coming comedian and the stuff he got to go through and shit like that. So those 3 movies helped motivate me to get get on the stage and do what I wanted to do.
You know what's dope about the Harlem Nights thing is it motivated me twice. It motivated me, like you just said, when it came out and I watched it and I'm looking at these generations, right? But then later on, I want to say after I think Red Fox died, I got his book and everything and was reading up on it. And the behind the scenes of that made it even more motivating to me because it was Eddie, because like you said, Eddie was in his bag and he was at his peak. And Eddie reached back because almost everybody in there comic-wise was having financial struggles.
Wow.
And he did it like it was like a double homage he was paying to his predecessors. Like, I want to work with them because of who they are and what they mean to the game and open the door for me. And at the same time, this is going to help. Like Red Fox literally was about to go to jail or some shit. So he took care of those guys that opened the door for him inadvertently through that movie magic because he paid them for one. And I believe they got some sort of deal on the back end of points and everything too at the same case. So I'm with you on that things too. Now, what about TV? Your TV show came up with Prophet Pete. He was like Black Ink Crew.
That's dope. I appreciate it. Yeah. I love the show that we're on, Black Ink Crew, because it was like, we were just a bunch of kids that was just trying to find our way with the tattoo shop and was blessed to be presented with the opportunity to do what we do on TV, and fortunately, y'all loved us, and we're going into our ninth season, so that's always a good look, Like it was a blessing. Like we didn't plan it. We didn't go shopping around for anything. Like they literally came to us, and luckily we knew people that knew people in the right places, and it was a journey. It was weird because we wasn't trying to be on TV, so the adjustment and folks running down me on the street like, oh my God, I love this show. It's a little weird, but yeah, I got
Well, here's a question. Then I'm gonna see if Amir has a question. My question is because I don't have any tattoos. I've never sat down, been under the needle, so to speak. Oh, wow. But I see a lot of titties on your show. So if you got a titty and it's like a silicone titty, and then can it pop? Can it knit? You get a tattoo on it. Can it pop through and bust the titty or something?
I mean, that's all about how rough the dude is. Me personally, I don't tattoo. I've always helped manage the brand and manage, push the brand, promote the brand. But yeah, I mean, unless you're trying to really like stab her until you can get some, you get some implanted titties tatted. I'm pretty sure, you can do that.
See, when I mentioned the titty,
how is that the question you asked? Nigga say, I don't got no tattoos. But never mind that. How you
I did
had a
that.
titty name?
I did that
Like,
for a purpose.
where did that come from? Like, you not having titties, you not having tattoos and silicone titties. Where did the connection? I
Hold
don't. You
hold
just
on, hold on.
circumvented around that whole shit.
I'm gonna tell you because I'm looking at the screen with all four of us, right? The producer that's on the screen above you, Prophet Pete, is not looking at us at all. He's looking over there doing some other shit, right?
Oh yeah,
Soon
he
as I
probably on. Yeah, he got.
soon as the word titty came out, motherfucker whole chair turned. And
He got mad attention. Like, what was that? Who's that titty? What? Ariola? What?
Amir, you got a question for him, Amir?
Yeah. So like you said, the show was obviously, like you said, grown out of an organic, situation for you guys. As far as artistry goes, because like you said, you manage the brand, and I'm sure that the other people on the show, are the actual artists and so forth and so on. Have you always, first and foremost, obviously been a team that, just, you guys came along together always, you just been that kind of team. And this was something that you guys, just did kind of just for fun. And like you said, from that, all these other things just, kind of grew from that because.
No, it was a plan that, all right, this is what we're gonna do as far as tattoos concerned. We're gonna, manage the brand. We're gonna hype the brand up. We definitely wanted to have fun while doing it, but this was something serious. It wasn't like a hobby or anything like that.
Okay.
Like Caesar and a few of our other original artists, like they were really tattoo artists for years. Puma, he was one of the original managers. I came in originally as like assistant manager. I started doing the photography and promoting the day-to-day of the shop on social media and web. So we was established business. But as far as the show was concerned, going on TV, yeah, that was just something new to us. And but we always took what we did serious. We had a lot of fun though while doing it.
Okay. Wow.
Nice, dude. Pete, you got a question? Are you the producer?
He muted his phone because he was watching some other shit. He forgot to unmute it.
I got
You had one job.
I got one job. I actually got 10. But you know what? I got a whole bunch of questions for you, Walt. Like, no lie. All right, first off, Black Ink, when do y'all really tattoo? Because I think it's like one tattoo every 10 episodes.
All right, so what people? No, that's a good question because a lot of folks get Black Ink Crew mixed up like a Miami Ink or LA Ink. You got the crew at the end of the name of the show because it's about us. We just so happen to work in a tattoo shop. We just so happen to be a tattoo artist. But it's about the crew, meaning us, like in our day-to-day lives. You know what I mean? The shop just plays the backdrop. So we got a lot going on in our lives other than tattoo, as opposed to like you have a Miami Ink or LA Ink. That's all they do. Like, you know what I mean? Ink Masters, that's all it's about. But the Black Ink Crew part is really also of the crew, like the workers. Hence why we was able to expand, and you got the Black Ink Chicago, you got Black Ink Compton, because it's about the crew. Like those shops, their names are not Black Ink, but they still a Black-owned tattoo shop. You know what I mean? They got their crew together, so that's what it was all about. That's where the whole Black Ink came from.
Yeah. Now, when it
comes,
you
know what I mean? We definitely do tattoos, but yeah, you're not gonna really see all of that on the show because we got a lot going on. But trust you me, like these shops, Caesar really opening up these shops. He really has official shops opening up throughout, New York, Atlanta, and they bust out work all the time.
No, and I know. I lost a tattoo artist to you guys. I think it was like, I'm going to Black Ink. I'm like, what you mean? You tattooing here? And he's like, nah, I'm going to Black Ink. I'm going to Black Ink 125. Right? I seen him on the episode. I was mad. But you know what? Shout out to Caesar.
Nigga right there, this nigga will leave me for the show. You are something else. So you just gonna leave us because you want to be on TV, huh?
Right.
All I can do is put you on YouTube. But
right, that's it. Oh wow. Yo, you coming for me? It's
I
cool.
can put you on my Instagram live and all that, but these guys. I was mad. That's where he was getting all these other questions. They mean shit. He got to the one he was. I took one of my artists and I seen that shit. I feel like. That's why he wanted to ask. That nigga don't even really do tattoos, man. I lost my artist to some bullshit.
Oh shit, man!
But
God,
there was
Love
one
it.
thing that, you know, because when I tell you Black Ink is one of those things that motivate me, I've
Appreciate
always
that.
watched it. Right from the beginning to all the seasons, I've watched it. And I watched that time that you was transitioning into comedy. And to me, that was very motivating for me because you went from doing what you was doing with the Black Ink crew, and you was like, I'm gonna embark on this journey. You know, you had the photography, you was manager of the shop and everything else, but that embarkment to you doing comedy was freaking amazing to me because you was like, I'm gonna do it regardless of what.
right.
So what I know what we saw, well, I know what I saw watching the episodes, but how was that transition for you truly?
Believe it or not, it's been fun because this was something that I always wanted to do. It was just about getting the nerve to finally jump on the stage. Like I've always like when we shoot the breeze, that's all I do is talk shit all day long. So making people laugh and stuff like that has always been something that I've been able to do. I've been blessed to be able to do this. It was just really just getting the nerve. And once I got on my first stage, it was just like I just wanted to learn everything I can learn. Like time to tell you, I hit him up all the time, harass him about shows. What can I do? You know what I mean? Pointers, all that stuff. Like this is something I've always wanted to do. So it was easy to get into the flow. It wasn't something like I was forced or it wasn't like a job to me. You know what I mean? So it wasn't hard. It wasn't, and I'm not trying to make it seem like, oh, I got like that. No, it was just like, even whatever, bad moments on stage, whatever, it's still great to me because this is what I've always wanted to do. I'm literally, you know what I mean, living out a dream. So it's just been amazing.
Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen, Walt the Wizard from the Black Ink crew. Let me tell you something. He's gonna go mad places, and the reason I enjoy working with him, the first sign he gave me, I'm an energy dude, and I work off the energy when I meet people. The first show I met him on, he reminded me of me in the sense of his level of humbleness. You know, he didn't come into, oh, I'm Walt from Black Ink. Like I don't never walk into a place. I'm talented. You know, I come into it as the comedian I'm gonna be, and I'm gonna do my job and perform. And then motherfucker happened to be super funny. So you got all the components you need to go far places. And ladies and gentlemen, we were blessed today to have him on Motivation Money. Thank you, Walt. I
Appreciate y'all for having me, man. Appreciate it for having me.
all day, baby. Walt the Wizard, ladies and gentlemen, Black Ink crew. Stopping by. Shout out to Walt. Give him your social handles, bro.
Yes. Instagram, Twitter, The Wizard, DA_WIZRD, Facebook, Walt Miller. You can find me on Facebook, Walt Miller. Yep.
Peace, brother. Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Thanks
Y'all
again,
enjoy the rest
brother.
of your night.
You got it.
Much continued
That's a
success.
great time right there. So you see that's what it's all about. When we can come on here and not just just kick the shit, but have fun, be relevant, make sense. And I'll tell you, Amir got a great idea for next week with the music. I'm gonna play with it and bounce it around in the brain so that we can categorize it and put it where it belongs in different categories. Because when we talk about motivation through the arts,
Yes.
movies come to mind, film, movies. And then you go fast. But like I said, Amir, I had a chance of catching because it just dropped in the wee hours of the night, the new Biggie
Yes.
documentary. And I remember seeing reviews from people like Mr. C, who was close to the whole uprising, if you will. And himself said this is the most official type one. So
Okay.
hearing that review from him made me want to gravitate and rush to see it as soon as it dropped. And he was right. It was very authentic. And it was motivating, and there's parts in there that motivate you, whether dealing with family and friends, whether dealing with business associates, and dealing with becoming a father, because it dealt with all that. It took it from the dumb young Christopher Wallace going home, every summer to Jamaica with his aunts and his uncles and grandma and all that, and coming back in the summer and still being, in the Brooklyn streets and coming of age and making the decision of, I want to be a street dude. Oh no, I want to be a rapper. Big, to see all of that year by year and what was going on when it happened and how all those guys, including Junior Mafia and everything, came to a click all the way to his death. the whole journey, because a lot of those documentaries focus on the artists, the music. This record was out, and this, but this was more focused on the human.
Other and that's why I said, a little bit earlier, what I said about, the way seemingly a lot of the documentaries and a lot of the things that we're seeing now seem to be giving us that the full perspective. Technically speaking, like you said, to this point, for the most part, a lot of people and icons who we've respected, we've only seen them in the light that we've known them for. But now to see the humane side, to see, a little bit of intricacies of a lot of these artists and a lot of these people, I think is amazing, because I think what happens is when we're able to see those formats of it, we find bits and pieces of ourselves in those people. And that's what makes it not only relatable, but then also allows us to go, now, I can see how and when they made the turn or pivoted at this point in their life, and how and why maybe I should be trying to look to pivot or, do something differently or to handle things differently. And I think that that's powerful at this particular time and in this particular moment, especially, as we always talk about the climate and what's going on in the world. So many of us have so much to contribute to the bigger picture. And as long as we can start finding, like I said, the things that we can identify in others that turn those lights on within us, we'll be fine. We'll be fine, man. That's what
I think, like, if we was, this is a hypothetical, but if Biggie was alive, right, and we're doing this show and we bring a Big on the show, and we say, hey, Big, movies, I find it almost impossible for him not to mention Crush Groove, Beach Street,
yeah,
Wild Style,
Breaking.
Well, he might not mention Breaking.
No, but what I'm saying is just because of the energy of it. But like you said, all those kinds of things, yeah. But what was interesting, to your point about this, particular topic tonight, was to hear everybody's reasoning for the things that motivate them. You know what I mean? Because the Food Network, I wouldn't have necessarily brought that up. But like I said, when I say I'm a big, huge fan of that, show, like, I watch that network more so than any other thing. I watch all the Bobby Flay challenges. Like, he's got one show where everybody.
You greedy motherfucker. You greedy motherfucker.
And that could be it too. You know what I mean?
When a motherfucker just turned to the Food Network and just you got one hand on the remote, one hand on Grubhub. You're not gonna get that shit you watching on Grubhub. Yeah. But listen, no, I mean, to your point, that's why I put that parentheses thing in there. Every time I said it, I said one thing. I said is there's no wrong answer, and the second thing I said is for whatever reason. Yeah. Because when a person say this motivated me, or I like this, or this stood out to me, or I'll never forget this, everybody got their own reason. And he took it there. He took it down to we all got our own lanes, but he took it to a far lane and made it resonate with what he's trying to do.
Yes.
He took it to, I'm trying to be a comedian. So this was great for me. For me to see Eddie, Richard, Red Fox, Della Reese, and Arsenio, and all these people on one screen. For some people, that same feeling you got, and me as a comic, I kind of got that in Boomerang. Because in Boomerang, you had Martin. You had Tommy and Eddie, and you had so many. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get it. I like how he connected it for his reasoning of why those things were what they were for him.
Yes.
I mean,
like I said, this was actually a really great show, and I like the fact that the dialogue that we really come up with hopefully allows to resonate within the circles of the people on the various platforms who tune in every week to our show, and they get these same ideologies working within their circles, because it is always kind of interesting to hear how or what motivates somebody else, and what the reasons are. That's always a really interesting thing.
Amir, all we got to do is get Pete to stop fucking lying and switch it up his shit when he's on the game. I bring him in. It's like throwing an alley-oop and somebody go, "Oh, look, birds." No, motherfucker.
Yo, I've never been diagnosed overdose. I probably got ADD, but on some real shit. I do have a question for you, Talent, though. Like, for real, right? Because I happen to be in AutoZone on whatever yesterday was, Sunday. I don't know the days of the week. All right, so Sunday, right? Yeah. And I heard something about you always brought out 4 pieces of cardboard. Right?
Are you listening?
4 pieces of cardboard. So I really want to know, because that motivated me.
Let me back up, Amir. So I'm on BLS with Jeff Fox yesterday briefly. He took a phone call from some dude who reminisced about something and said, "Oh, you in town?" Blah, blah. He said, "I still hang with town. Matter of fact, I'm gonna call him after this." So he calls me right after that guy talks, and we just kicking it. And he said to me something, I forgot what it was, talking about back in the day. And how did I come up with the nickname? We were talking about nicknames in the hood. And I was like, well, I needed a name. First of all, I did graffiti, breakdancing, sports, and music and rapping and all that. I said, so I needed a name for graffiti's sake that was easy for me to write in graffiti, but that encapsulated a guy that does everything. So, I said talent was perfect, right? He said, oh, you was breakdancing? So let me ask you this. You walked around with the cardboard? You had a piece of cardboard? I said, well, only the real nice motherfuckers had 1 piece of cardboard. I said, I had about 4. I said, so you put them together. I said, yeah, you got to make a little stage thing, because you're going to be trying windmills. You're going to be trying a bunch of shit. I said, now that guy, that head spin specialist, he got a little piece of cardboard, no bigger than a briefcase. He get on his head, spin, he break it to little poles. Guys like us, we all over the place. We pop lock, we go up and down, we worming it. We trying to kick that windmill and everything. So yeah, it was 4 pieces.
Yeah, that's classic.
First of all, you need to grow up.
But I'm just saying though, I was inspired. It was just, I was like, yo, I know that voice. Oh, and then 4 pieces of cardboard. I used to break dance. I'm like, oh, that's my guy.
This shit has 0 to help with human trafficking in the world. Shit has 0.
But it still motivated me.
Anyway, y'all, it's been a great show. Thank you to my super producer, Prophet P. Thank you to the super co-host, Amir. Great job, brother.
Yes.
Harris, hopefully we touched the nerve. We got you to laughing and thinking, and more importantly, motivating through these movies and TV. Next week, we're going to do music. How about that?
Yes. Looking forward to that. That's going to be fun.
Peace to the kings. Everybody be blessed.
Peace to the kings. Yeah. Everybody. Blessings.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man.